Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Join me every week. I release new episodes every Tuesday. Hello, Middlers, and welcome back to episode 103. I hope you are doing well. All of the planets are coming out of retrograde, so I think that's good news for us. I think there's good things coming our way, and I have an different type of topic this week. It's something I usually talk about in my Reiki courses, but I know it's a difficult subject for a lot of people, so I was talking about it on Instagram, and I got a lot of DMs saying you should make a podcast episode about this. And I was like, ooh, good idea. I should make a podcast episode about this. So here it is. If you have trouble accepting money or trading for money, or there is also like this stigma in the spiritual community that everything should be free. And I have something to say about it. And I talk about this to my students in Reiki level 2. So I wanted to bring this to you because I think it's an important conversation to have. I don't think we should not talk about money. I don't think it should be taboo. So I'm excited to talk about this today. Starting with announcements, there is a Reiki level 1 going on in November 20th and 21st. So if you are looking to learn Reiki, if Reiki has been calling your name, if you're just interested in Reiki and you don't know why, it might be because you are being called to take a course or Reiki is calling your name. That's just how it works. I always make a joke to my students that in Reiki level 1, we could have been making noodles. I had no idea what we were doing, what I was doing there. I just knew I had to take the course. It was coming up in my life too much, so I booked it and it changed my life forever. Now I do Reiki full time, so you never know where a Reiki level 1 course can take you, but I always say it should be a prerequisite for being human. Like everyone should have to take Reiki level 1. It's just such a good insight into yourself, your intuition, your own energy, the awareness, the self-healing. It's so beautiful. So if you're interested in learning Reiki, there's still space in November. That will be my last level 1 of this year. Reiki trainings will be coming back in January. There'll be one in December for level 2. And that wraps up the year because I launched a mentorship program last week and the application process sold out in 24 hours. Crazy. So amazing, so perfectly aligned, such divine timing, just everything lined up and bam, 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 here we are. So very, very amazing that is sold out so quickly. I will be running the program again in January, but we're going to be moving with these 8 mentees moving forward for the next 2 months, and I'm very, very excited to see their growth, support their growth, hear about their growth. Ooh, it's going to be a good time. So kind of on that notion, I've been in this like teaching vibe, sharing wisdom vibe, which is what kind of brought up this whole conversation onto Instagram. So if you don't already follow me at Medium in the Middle, follow on Instagram. We have a good time over there. Lots of extra content. I answer your questions. I get back to all DMs eventually. And it's just a really nice way to stay connected within the community. You can also follow me on Instagram, and all the links for everything will be down below in the show notes, themediuminthemiddle.com. So let's pull some cards for this week before we get in. I wanted to pull 2 cards again, and you guys are going to laugh. I had the intuitive nudge to pull from the Oracle of E. Now, if you're a longtime listener, you remember when I got this deck and I instantly didn't like it. I was like, what is this deck? But I wanted to give it some extra chances, so I've been trying to use it, and I rarely am called to use it. Very rarely, maybe once a quarter. But today I was like, I need to pull a card from the Oracle of E. But that was my second card that I pulled, so I like to pull them in order and then say them in order. So we're sticking with tradition of the Mediumship training deck. I really want to get to know this deck better. So the card that I pulled from this one, which I really, really liked, Divine nudges. Synchronicities and so-called coincidences are clear signs that Spirit is knocking at your door. These blessings and signs of grace are not just more coincidences, but are evidence that you are and always will be connected to Spirit. Spirit, working through synchronicity, can manifest in some unique ways. Some people refer to these occurrences as divine nudges. Examples of this includes hearing the same phrase from more than one person in a day, or identical numbers repeating showing up in your life. Have you met an individual out of the blue who seemed to answer a question that you were just asking yourself? These are all signs for you to pause, be open, pay attention, and more importantly, to acknowledge that Spirit is sending you a message. When you're developing your spiritual abilities, Spirit knows how you need to develop and evolve, and will continue to steer you in the direction for your highest good. You may not always follow Spirit's prompts, but you'll still be continually and gently nudged forward. By following the prompts and guidance, you'll notice how more people, situations, and synchronicities start to appear in your life. The more you begin to notice these meaningful divine nudges, the easier it is for them to multiply and give you spiritual guidance. Be open to synchronistic signs. Welcome them and act on them accordingly, for these are the signs that Spirit is there to guide and help you. Ooh, divine nudges. Okay, I like that card a lot. And it's so true. I feel like I get so many DMs being like, what do these numbers mean? What does this mean? I met 3 people named Josh. What does that mean? And it is just this. It's a divine nudge. It's a push in the right direction. It's the yes you were asking for. It's the no you were asking for. It's the do it you were asking for. Whatever you've been asking for, it's always a confirmation of that, right? So, love that card. And then from the Oracle of E, I pulled card 31, Superhero, which I don't hate. It says, Superhero. Right now, you've got superhuman strength. The truth is, you always do, but most of the time you don't need it. Why bother? Everything's rocking along just fine. You are about to learn just how cool, how strong, how amazing you really are. So I like that card. I'm going to take it. Thank you, the Oracle of E, whatever E means. And I like the card messages this week. They line up quite nicely. So jumping right into this week's topic of exchanging for money, or just the concept of exchanging. So this all came about because in Reiki Level 1, it is all about self-healing. So yes, you can practice on others, but it is just that. You are a Reiki student and you are practicing. So there's no exchanges, there's no trade for money, nothing like that. In Level 2, however, you become a Reiki practitioner. So at that point, you are building to a full 60-minute session and a full payment. But it doesn't start there, right? So I always tell my students, step 1 is your practice stage, where the trade is practice. Then once you feel like you know what you're doing, you start to trade. You can trade for a coffee. You can trade if your friend makes blankets. If someone makes soaps, they can trade you that. Then when you're like, oh, I want to put a set price for it, because, someone bringing me a coffee and someone buying me lunch isn't always the same. So you start at $20. Start at $20, and then you do $20 until it feels icky. And when it's like, I'd rather not do anything for that 30 minutes than practice Reiki for $20. But for $40, I'd be really motivated. Then that's when you change your price to $40. So I use this concept in business, and I use this concept for just anything in my life. If it feels icky, I don't do it. It probably means I need to say no. It probably means I need to change course. And I really encourage you to apply it this way. So when I'm explaining this to my level 2 students, I am also having the conversation of the exchange is very, very, very important for multiple reasons. Number 1, we all know what we value when we pay for something versus when we get it for free. And I like to use an example of, at the same time that I paid for a 6-week mediumship course, I also won a medium named Fleur's 6-week mediumship course. And what course did I attend? Every single class, do every single homework piece, attend every single meeting, and what class have I not even signed into yet? Of course, the course that I paid hundreds of dollars for, I fully invested in. The course that I won for free, I haven't even opened. It is just the way of life. Things that we put our money in, we value and we want our money's worth. So number one, there's that aspect of it. But number two, it's also what I like to say, meeting me in the middle. And I know it's funny because I'm medium in the middle, but it's part of the healing. It's part of the work. It's part of the trade. This is why I don't chase anyone for sessions. This is why I don't force anyone to book. This is why if anyone's like, hey, Steph, I need to come see you, I don't take out my, schedule and I'm like, oh, I have Tuesday at 2 p.m. available. It's like link in bio. Everyone knows link in bio. We say it enough. If you wanted to book an appointment with me, you would go to the link in my bio, click it, and book it. I don't need to hound you down. So I feel the same with payment. It's you coming to the center and coming into your healing, investing into that. And it's really, really important. And I know some people have a hard time accepting money for quote unquote things that should be free. Reiki, mediumship falls into this a lot. So I want to say a few things about this that might help you or help shift your perspective if you have a hard time accepting money for any service that you do, for any offering that you have, for anything you want to add value to where you're like, hey, I want to raise my price. Hey, I want to charge $100 for this where I don't know if people will buy it. And I really want to have a conversation about this because I think it's really, really important that money is not a taboo subject that we don't talk about. So something that I heard a few years ago was from John Edwards, and he was kind of getting poo-pooed on in the community. And a lot of people were saying, like mediumship is a gift, mediumship should be free. How dare you charge people? How dare you charge them? You're, scamming them when they're sensitive, when they're grieving, when, saying all these things. And he said this, he said, listen, yes, mediumship is free. The gifts from your loved ones are free. The messages are free. Everything from spirit is always free. He's like, I'm not saying it's not free. He's saying what I'm saying is the 1 hour of my time is not free. So that $1,000 that you're paying for your reading, the mediumship is free, my time is not free, you're paying for my time, not the mediumship. And I've always viewed work and energy work especially like that. The work is free, Reiki is a gift, mediumship, all of these beautiful abilities, they are just that, they're abilities and they're beautiful. But the time is not free, the investment is not free. Even if not even taking into account any courses or experience or practice or years of development, not even taking into account that. It's like, well, with that hour that maybe I was supposed to meet with you, if it was for free, I have a lot of other things that I could do. My laundry, my dishes, have a nap. And it's just really interesting when we view it that way. You're not paying for Reiki, you're paying for my time. And there's a difference there. So when I'm telling my students this, that exchange is very important. And this is why in the spiritual kind of community, you'll see a lot of times on the website, a course, and then instead of saying price is $444, it'll say the exchange is $444 Canadian. It's like a trade. It's like, here, this is for you, and you're trading me something. So it's just really interesting that now in this world, this element of like trading is seen sometimes in a negative view, and it definitely depends on your view of money. And I think people attach a lot of their worth to money, like, oh, I'm not worth to be paid that. It's not worth it. And it's a really interesting concept because you're attaching your worth to a dollar amount, but not to the trade and the impact. So I really, really encourage you, if you have a hard time with this, find something that feels good for you. Find something that you are happy doing the work for and you are happy receiving. I've had a Reiki student who said, hey, Steph, I'm pretty wealthy. I don't need money. It feels weird. I would only be doing this on friends and family. It feels weird asking them for money. And I was like, okay, well, you have to have some kind of a trade because it's part of the deal. Reiki it's all about a trade. There has to be an energy exchange. I said, so is there anything else they could bring you? Could they make you cookies? Could they get you a coffee gift card? Could they, maybe bring you a small gift? Do you like baths? And she was like, oh, I do drink a lot of Tim Hortons coffee. And I was like, okay, well, what if they bring you just a small gift card? Like, it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but if their intention is they're going to the coffee shop to get you a gift card to bring it to your house because you're doing Reiki for them, that's a really nice gesture. And if you feel like that's a fair trade for you, then that is also completely okay. Like, you get to decide what the exchange is, especially if you're having an offering, you're running your own business, whatever it may be. I could even be talking directly to my Reiki students here. The beauty of this is you get to decide what's a fair trade, and you get to decide when it's not fair, and you get to decide when it's icky and you need to change it. So when you're like, I would rather sit on my bum for 30 minutes than practice Reiki for $20, change your price. Would you rather do it for $40? Oh yeah, I'd get off the couch for $40 for sure. Then that's when it's time to change your price. Do what keeps you motivated. If doing it for free keeps you motivated, then just make sure there's some type of energy exchange. Maybe you bring me something that you make. Maybe you make me lunch. It doesn't have to always be money, but I really want people to be comfortable with accepting money because you are worth it. The trade is valuable. Time is very valuable. Your time is not free. It is a limited resource. We can never buy more time. I feel like I could talk a lot about money, and I know I want to do a meeting in the middle about manifesting money. It won't be in October. October is just jam-packed and flying by, but I will do a meeting in the middle on money, and I will also be doing the December meeting in the middle, a year in review. I've already had people asking me. We did it last year, and it was so good. Oh, it was so good. It's my favorite time of reflection. So yes, that will be coming in December. I'm going to be putting that up soon so that you can register for it. If you weren't there last year, they are good times. More information will be coming, but I really wanted to talk about that. And another thing that I just want to give for an example around this is just around kind of value, and we decide what the value is. And again, if you're in this kind of realm of either working for yourself or where you get to decide your own prices, you also get to decide the value of it, right? And I was listening to this podcast where she was actually talking about Chanel, and she was talking about the brand Chanel, and she was saying, who decided that Chanel bags are $3,000 or $5,000 or whatever a Chanel bag is? Who decided they were that expensive? And she said, Chanel did. She said, Chanel said, our bags are $3,000. She's like, did Chanel ever think, oh, someone's not going to buy a bag for $3,000, or who's going to buy this bag for $3,000? She's like, no, Chanel said, this bag is $3,000. That's what they said. And, they don't have problems selling bags. And another interesting thing that she said in this podcast was in 2020, the year of, all of the pandemics and everything that happened, she said in the year of 2020 when, purchasing was down, buying was down, everyone was losing their jobs. Do you know what Chanel did? They raised their prices. They raised their prices in 2020. And she said, that's the type of mentality that you have to have in your life. You are Chanel. You decide your prices. You can raise your prices in 2020. I raised my prices in 2020. I started a business in 2020. I actually raised my prices 3 times. And it's just really interesting that you get to decide this because you get to decide your worth, but we cannot attach our worth to the money that we make. But you can decide the worth of your time, right? That's where that exchange comes in. So if you have a hard time accepting money, I want you to think of it as an exchange. And money is just a form of exchange. And there has to be an exchange for spiritual services. I know mediumship is a gift and it's beautiful. I know Reiki is a gift and it's wonderful. That doesn't mean my time is free. That doesn't mean that I'm out here giving it away for free because my time is not valuable. My energy is not important. My schedule is not important. Balance for me is not important. That's not true. In the same way, for people to value and accept and meet me in the middle and join in on their healing, they also have to contribute to that exchange. And I always say, think of something you got for free and think of something that you paid for. Even in the most simplest terms, when you go to Sephora and you pay $40 for whatever, maybe a little expensive item and they give you a few free samples. I'm sure we all have a basket under our sink somewhere full of all those free samples. When you pay for something, you honor it more. You are invested at this point. So you can view it in two ways, but the biggest thing is exchange. Energy exchange, money is an exchange. It is just a form of currency that we trade, and I really want you to be comfortable with that. So I'm always preaching this to my students because I want them to feel comfortable building up to a money exchange. I'm not saying on the Monday after a weekend course, go charge $100 for a session. No, I'm saying build up to that. When you're comfortable, when you're ready, 6 months later, 1 year later, make sure you're growing with your exchange. Make sure your exchange is growing with you. And you're feeling good and it's not feeling icky. It's not feeling like a chore. You're excited. You're lit up to do whatever you're doing. This can be Reiki. This can be anything else that you're trading your time for. And I know it's hard when you're working for the man. You can't just go in and decide, well, I'm worth 4 times what you're paying me in my salary. I really want to focus on when you're having an offering from yourself. You get this kind of power over it, and it's a very, very, very beautiful thing, but I know it's very scary and very hard for a lot of people. So I want to read you 3 quotes that I include in my Reiki booklet that might just hit home. It might serve you well, so take it or leave it, but these are the 3. Money is life energy, and we exchange and use as a result of the service we provide for the universe. Deepak Chopra said that. This quote is from an unknown, but money at its very essence is energy, and all energy can be attracted or repelled. And the healing involves an exchange of energy. I love that one. The healing involves an exchange of energy. So I hope if you're a little bit uncomfortable with accepting money, perhaps this podcast almost gave you permission. Sometimes we just need permission, even as adults, to be like, it's okay. We don't have to listen to the naysayers saying that mediumship should be free or Reiki should be free. It is free. It is absolutely free. My time is not free. My energy is not free. There's a trade that must be involved. So here's your permission slip. Take with it and run. I hope this motivates you to feel good accepting money and to know when things are feeling icky, change your price. So this is me putting on my Steph mentorship pants on. I'm so excited to work with these 8 mentees over the next 2 months and just watch them grow and blossoms and watch their gardens bloom and watch them overcome fears and, get clear on what they're looking for, because this stuff really lights me up. I love teaching. I love supporting others. I love pushing people. And I'm the friend you call when you need a little push or a little reminder or the hard love. And I'm ready to be that for these beautiful mentees. So thank you to everyone who applied. I'm sorry I couldn't accept everybody. There will be another round in January, and just kind of really creating how I can make this look so that I can connect with the most amount of people. So I know it's only 8 this time. I hope it's more next time, but we're ebbing and flowing here, Thank you for listening to this episode. I hope it brought you value. I hope it was something maybe you needed to hear this week. If you want to see the cards, you can follow me on Instagram at Medium in the Middle or Facebook. If you want to book an appointment with me, I again do distance Reiki, Akashic Records, or Psych K appointments. That's all available on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. That's also where you can register for Reiki courses and for the Meetings in the Middle, which is my monthly meeting. So until next week, everyone, I will see you in your ears. Still trying to think of a better sign off. But I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.